I am live. I am speaking to you from the planet Earth. I am warning you of cosmic energy. I am a long-haired hippie alien, and I wish to say, may the Fourth go with you.
Being silly. Yep, being silly. I hope everyone has had a good 4th of July. It's been a whacked out energy day for me. It's okay. Hang on. Hold that thought. All of a sudden, as I'm fixing to be live here, I start having a nasal attack. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, greetings, everyone. Greetings, blessings, salutations, and I wish all of you that you've had a good holiday, and that everybody got home safe. And I continue to pray for folks. I just got done doing a live feed on my Facebook channel. It was only going to last 30 minutes, and it lasted for an hour and a half. I really got to get better with this time thing. But at least I stayed on topic of things and didn't ramble like I have been. So I'm in my meditation and in my prayer work, I'm continually asking to make sure that I don't go yapping too long. Now, I know that folks come online and I interact with folks, and I really do love that. But sometimes, just a particular subject is necessary. And I need to keep it as short as possible because folks' attention spans are low. So this is July the 4th. Actually, it's now the 5th in my location. Well, almost the 5th. And it is roughly 12 o'clock Dave's time, which is Eastern Standard Time. I know everybody's on Eastern Daylight. That's my inside joke, but to the point. And it's 12 o'clock. Not midnight, but 12 o'clock. And that I've been keeping an eye on all the energies and the Schumann resonance and everything, especially these last couple weeks because of all this fluctuation and just downright plain weirdness. And today, the Schumann resonance has been a little more normal the last 24 hours versus what it had been. And in fact, I meant to check this before I got back online. Let me do a little real quick. I don't think you can see this. It's just the camera. But I want to check the Schumann resonance at the moment, because when I checked it earlier, it was like, kind of normal, which, whoa. Yeah, okay, so today, we've just came through a little bit of a spike that got us up to about 28 to 30 in the Schumann resonance, where it's normally about 8, we'll say. Today, around 11, there was a spike at 11, 11:45, 12:30, 1:30, well, almost 2 o'clock, and then one about 3 o'clock, and then a couple other spikes. But now yesterday on the 3rd, oh man, there was, let's see, from 9 o'clock until 10, 11, 12. For 6 hours yesterday, we got absolutely whacked on the Schumann resonance. I mean, it was just really, I'm talking in the 30s and pushing 40s. Off the chart kind of thing. Today has just been a couple of spiky spikes, which is good. Now on the on the downside, I've spoke on different videos before, and I'll use it again about, wave action. It's like this. So at the top of the wave the other day with all this, 10 hours, it was a good hard 6 hours, but a good 10 to 12 hours of higher frequency yesterday on the 3rd. Okay. Today's been a little bit more mellow, had a couple of spikes. In fact, 2 or 3 hours ago, we just had a spike. And so I've warned folks about the wave action, and that I continue to use an ocean wave, a wave in water, and meaning that you got the high point of the wave, and then you have the trough. That's the word I was looking for, the trough. So if you've been really high up here in the 30s and 40s, frequency-wise, when those frequencies die off, you get a lag. You end up in the trough of the wave. So from the high point yesterday till just this evening a little bit, the trough was really low compared to the energy we were getting. So thus we get this feeling of up. And what do I feel like somebody just yanked the rug out from me? Because they did. You were on top of the wave and it stopped pulsing, which means you came to the trough of the wave. And some of the waves behind it today have been little ones, another one, a little one. And then we had a kind of nice little fuzzy buzz there for a little bit, bringing us to this point right now, because I just looked at the chart. So, but for several days, we were getting hammered, really getting zapped with the Schumann resonances. And something I want to bring out to your attention, as I try to do as a watchman, my continued prayers for everyone. And whether you wish to believe me or not, I still am praying for you. You can hate my guts and disagree with me all you wish. My prayers are still with you. Okay? So, but 2 other news agencies just today, or maybe it was yesterday. Okay, let's just say it's since Monday, and this is Wednesday at the moment. Well, now it's Thursday. Well, but take into consideration the fact that a lot of folks have been talking about, cosmic waves coming in and the energetic waves and all this other kind of stuff. Well, that's okay. I've been talking about seeing stars blow up and having this energy from those distant stars finally reaching us. Well, guess what? The one that I spoke about in a previous video was Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius B being the one that had a big bright flash that sent out, that looked like an explosion in that star system, that solar system. Well, and the discussion is quite simple. If a light year is how far can it travel, blah, blah, blah. So if they're now seeing this from a telescope here on the Earth or close to the Earth, like Hubble or something, then those particles have already traveled that far. They're already here because now we can see the visible light. All the non-visible stuff, guess what, is going at the same speed or faster than the speed of light. So folks are going, but where's the stuff coming from? Well, I don't see nothing. They're all worried about the sun. When these energies are coming from our backside, they're coming from outside the solar system, coming in. Now they've got a different star or something that it is blowed up or whatever, and those waves are headed to us. That's a different star system than the one I've been trying to find information out of. Now, so does it matter? Well, in a way, it means that now we have 2 star systems, not 1, but 2, that we're now getting their energy waves. Oh, holy crap. If we can see the light, that means all the protons and everything that's come, okay, they're coming at us. Oh, but we looked into deep space. Yeah, but that means that the energy is close enough for us to see the light. And if we can see these things do the old blow up thing and pass out energy around, they're reaching us. Okay. So now the cosmic update has been that this could very well be like a giant CME or solar flare. It's just rude to do that on, but better than having, the drip on camera, I reckon. My apologies, please. Shows I'm human. But with that said, though, these energies that are coming in are all in all kinds of protons and photons and different wavelengths and stuff. It's not just sunlight. It's a whole lot more than that. And we've been told by those of us, I mean, it's out there, that these certain types of energy waves would and could change our DNA. Literally, maybe some of us will become Neanderthals again or something. I don't know. But to the point of either shutting off or turning on DNA or literally rearranging our DNA structure, they don't really know. There's a lot of speculation. But the bottom line is, very simply, yes, it is happening. Yes, it's having an effect on all of us, some more than others, but that's just who we are. And yes, they have known this stuff was coming for a long time, okay? Now, to be fair, these scientists, I think some of them have really been studying, like, it's going to hit the earth. I'm on the earth. That means me. So there are people who are really worried about, I say worried, concerned that what will this do to us? Will it make women grow hair, on their chin or more than most? But to the point, I'm just saying, will all women grow facial hair now, or will men go bald? I mean, it could go all different kinds of ways. The bottom line is that it's happening, and it's coming from different sources. It's coming from RT, it's coming from this science, it's coming from that journal, it's coming from NASA. All these folks are talking about it now. And many of us, I know I've been discussing this for a long time. People are tired of me talking about it. Dave, all you do is yap about this energy coming from but it's here and it's affecting us. We need to pay attention. We need to be kind. We need to understand this stuff so that we can deal with it. If you don't know what it is, you can't deal with it. Oh, my leg's sore. Well, that's because you fell down 4 flights of stairs. Don't try to get up and walk. Sit down for a few minutes, let it rest, get an ace bandage. If you know that there's a stairs coming up, then you should slow down, be careful, and take them easy. Versus walking and then all of a sudden you fall off the stairs when you didn't know a stairs was there. So part of this is a warning in that, hey, there's a stairs. Be careful. There's stuff coming in. Just keep an eye on it. When your energy is fluctuating all over the place and you don't know what's going on, we're getting hammered by these UAs, Bs, and Cs that are never supposed to reach the earth. Now they're picking up all these. Now they're admitting that we're picking up all these magnetic anomalies and things from the opposite side of the sun. Several different newspapers today, several different things. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. That ain't it. I read this information years ago, and I've just been trying to spread it. Not that I'm correct. They were right years ago. I've just been trying to keep the information fresh. This is applicable right now, everybody. Yes, I've been yapping about it. Oh, where is it? Well, now they're all talking about it. Whoops, it's here. 2 star systems instead of just 1. Okay. So now the warning coming from the galactics are very simple. They don't know how strong this is going to be. They're trying to, as I've stated, there are planets out there bigger than the Earth, bigger than Jupiter, and they're being placed all around the solar system to try to negate some of this high voltage energy coming into the solar system. They're trying to act like a capacitor and absorb some of this and discharge it in different ways. Because our scientists ain't got a clue what this stuff's going to do. Now, the ancients and the galactics understand this type of physics. They understand this type of thing. And those beings are trying to help us to alleviate this energy that is hitting the Earth. They're trying to keep the Earth from flipping upside down. Now, polarity changes in the magnetic field happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Somebody says, "Ooh, the magnetic poles." Let them flip. They need to be flipped. They'll flip back around. It's a natural process. Don't freak out. Stay calm. Ooh, somebody said, "Ooh, who is that?" Tinfoil. Hey, are we alone? Never. It's too warm here today. Or are they flying monkeys? I heard they aren't even very intelligent on that fancy gadget to try to fool us with. Not the ones that I'm in touch with. They're very smart. And they've showed me their stuff. I have gone outside and they have showed me in my atmosphere. Tinfoil. I watched one satellite beam thing blow up another one with a light laser beam. I watched it, I guess it's about 2 years ago now. And it was in the spring. But I have visually seen these things. Not being drunk or high on anything, just there. Wish I could have taken a picture. But what some of these other folk are discussing are flying monkeys, and the Nibiru thing is they're trying to make what they're viewing is true, a lot of it. Their hypothesis as to what it is wrong, period. They're stellar cores. They're something else. It's Nibiru and all its planetoids. No, they're giant spaceships, period. That's the truth. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get rid of all the hogwash. Because I videotape, just go out to Soho and some of these satellites and Lasco C3 and all. You can see these spaceships flying across the screen. Huge ones. You can see them coming out of the sun because the sun is a portal. Most suns are portals. How do you get from one star system to another? You go through the sun to another one. That's how you get there. Shortcut. Everything's electrical. Everything works that way. So people who are trying to come up with a natural reason for an unnatural phenomenon. So, but that's a Nibiru. No, I lived just south of you, and I took a picture about the same time you did, and what I saw in the sky ain't it. If it was Nibiru, I should have seen it too. That's what I'm saying. If it was in your location, 500 miles north, I should have seen it from my position, 500 miles south. Period. Same day, same picture, whatever, or close. I can't duplicate it. I can get the little sundogs. Now, my point to this is, I believe these people are taking pictures of real objects. It's that they're not celestial objects. They're not natural objects. These are our brothers and sisters from other galaxies and other solar systems who are here now to help us because they've been aware of these waves coming to hit us for a long time. I've known it since the 90s. But the information got squelched. Now, I mean science knowledge. I don't mean ET knowledge. I just got the ET knowledge within the last 2 years. But they have not steered me wrong. Every time they give me a flash of something, a day or two later, something will be on the news about it. I was talking about the cosmic energy coming in from Sirius B. Now they're talking about a different star system. But guess who's talking about all these energy waves coming into the solar system now? Ooh, from the opposite side of the sun. Not from the sun, but, from out in space. Oh, really? Well, I've been trying to keep people awake about this. But, me, I'm just a yapping old hippie down here in South Georgia. Which, by the way, Tinfoil, I believe it was hotter in your neck of the woods than it was here today. It was 87 degrees at its hardest point. And then we got a rain shower, and it cooled down to like about 82 degrees for most of the evening. Now it's, really humid, but man, oh man, it's been nice. And I've noticed folks up north of me, all my relatives in Ohio are getting hammered with the heat. Oh, I wouldn't move south. All that damn heat in summertime. And they're up in the upper 90s and I'm in the 80s. Come on. Things are backwards now. But with all these energies and stuff coming in, I'm trying to not make folk. I'm trying to bring awareness so folk will at least have a discussion about it. And as I've been watching the Schumann residence before you came on, Tenpole, how are you, my brother? Hope you had a good 4th of July. I spent my day in meditation and prayer, making sure that folks would get home safe. And I did it voluntarily, sort of. But, it was my intention to do that for today. Because I didn't have anything planned and nobody wants to come visit all day. So, but anyway. The information, though, that I've been doing, I'm always doing my little checks and what's coming in, where's the sun at, what's the UV, blah, blah, blah. And that the amount of energy in the earth right now that was on the Western Pacific, Japan, all along down there in New Zealand, all that, there was nothing major on our end of the Pacific, the eastern edge of the Pacific Rim, or the western coast of Americas, all the way down to the tip of Argentina or South America. And so it's really kind of spooky because there's been some heavy duty 4s and 5s and really deep ones, and they haven't reached this side of the Pacific plate yet. It's already transferring the opposite way and up into Afghanistan and across through Greece and there, but it hasn't started this way as bad, and we're going to get it. So if you're in an earthquake prone place, you need to be aware there's some heavy duty earth energies that haven't struck the west coast of the Americas yet. I'm from Alaska to the South Pole. The whole length is going to start getting hit harder and harder and harder, okay, because of what's happened in the West Pacific, not because of some magical blah, blah. The magical blah, blah is what's heating up the earth and creating the deep earthquakes. That's cosmic. But the fact that there are forces in one place must transfer the energy, and it hadn't hit us yet, and it should in the next few days pretty damn hard. So I don't live on the coast. I'm as far away from most earthquake zones, but if anyone listens and is in, I know I got a couple of people who live in California and British Columbia and folks like that. And so y'all be careful. Just be aware, Is it going to be catastrophic? Well, it depends. If something falls off the shelf and it was your grandma's heirloom and it hits the floor and breaks, then yeah, that could be catastrophic. I would hate to lose my Dumbo cookie jar that my grandmother gave me. I would hate that. But as far as my house falling in or some glass breaking, there's all kinds of different things that can happen. The other thing that's been really interesting is the amount of holes opening up all over the planet. The one in Mexico is getting even wider and longer. There was another one that I think was in Minnesota. Now, it might have been a few days ago. That's not the point. The point of the matter is this creek thing, blah, blah, blah. And his old car's in this, where the road got separated and everything. Now, I live on a river. It's flooded. I've been here 35 years. I've seen all different kinds of flood type things happen. Things get washed away in my backyard. Logs coming down the river from 2 miles upstream, all kinds of weird stuff. But to see some of the stuff that is happening in different parts, like, cracks opening up because of a water flow. The amount of water that it takes to do some of these cracks that are seen is a crap load of water. Whoa, dude. So, number one, we're getting more volume of water almost everywhere. It's rained here at my house down here in South Georgia almost every day for the last 10 days. That's unheard of in the last 15 years. That has not happened here in over 15 years. We've been in a drought that long. And now it's like, whoa, we're going to have a shower today. Well, sure enough. Yeah, we have. It might not last long, but we've gotten rain every single day for the last 10 days. Only a drizzle, doesn't matter. We've gotten rain. This time last year, my well was halfway down and going dry. And I didn't get rain until December of 17. I went 7 months at a hard drought. Well's up, water's up, the grass is up past my knees, for God's sakes, and it was only been 2 or 3 weeks since it was, oh my goodness, everything. I can't get my garden to grow, but the grass and weeds are growing great, and I'm proud that I've got water in my well, and I can water things and wash things. Now, there are things that I needed to burn that are too damn wet that a gallon of gas won't set this stuff on fire. It's just what it is. But to the point, though, these changes have started drastically since the beginning of this year. Now, starting on July the 21st-ish, all the planets and all the little exoplanets are all going to be on one side of the sun. Along with, we're getting in this stellar cosmic waves, because that's where it's coming from, other stars. So this is stellar energy coming in. And at a really fast clip. I saw with this one professor was talking about the fact that when things like that are rejected from a star, there is the visible light, which is supposed to postulate out so many X times whatever. However, they don't really know, because the denseness of space doesn't have anything in it, supposedly, except that it runs into waves. So actually, the speed of light can be twice as fast as what we predicted on Earth because of space. Just space. Just because space is space. It's this stuff in between. But to that point, though, with the visible light are coming all these photons, protons, etc. And that some of these are actually traveling faster than the speed of light. So not only are we getting hammered, okay, just think visible light. But we're getting particles the particles are almost sucking the light waves behind it, because they are traveling actually faster than the speed of light. It reaches a certain point that it goes sort of into the quanta, or if you will, a Star Trek warp drive. Instead of working on impulse power, it's warp 10, like that. And that unless there's an object in front of it, it doesn't slow down. And if anything, they're actually speculating that it could pick up a little bit of speed, because there's nothing in front of it to give it a bow shock or a bow shock. Okay. So there's nothing in front, like being in a boat. As you're driving along, there's nothing in the water's in front, blah, blah, blah. That's the bow shock or the bow shock. So if something is traveling through space, but there's nothing in space, then there's no bow shock. So there's nothing to stop it. So if it gathers up enough speed, its velocity and whatever is behind it, it can actually gain momentum. So it could be hitting us at twice the speed of light, is my point. And I found that dissertation rather intriguing. Like, y'all lied to me about the speed of light being a constant when it's not, because of different factors of stuff. So, but now you're telling me that it's very possible that there are protons and unseen gluons, etc., that travel faster than the light particles, wave particles, and that there could reach twice that speed on a quantum level. Wow. So if we get hit by light all the time, but what if something's going twice that speed and it's a different compound? It's going to go into our bodies, sunlight does and all these other things. So what is it going to do to us? I'm not going to speculate, except what the Galactics have said. And now it's come out on RT and some of these other stations yesterday and today. Oh, guess what? These cosmic rays can actually change our DNA. They put it out there on mainstream news. Now, the Galactics also said that when you heard this on national television or worldwide. I like RT. Them folks don't lie much. I haven't caught them in a lie, actually. A little bit of not quite the truth, but that was because they got the wrong information. But I digress. But, NASA and some of these other science magazine publications, so forth, websites, etc., they're all starting to discuss it. And the fact that these waves are here, they're in our solar system. Look what it did to Uranus and to my anus and to everybody else's. Look what it's done to Neptune and all these others, And, the dust storm on Mars is still ongoing. Okie dokie. So if it's affected Mars, then it's probably reached us by now, because Mars and Earth are the closest we're going to be until the next swing around, which is also interesting. So that means whatever's hit Mars, if it hasn't reached us yet, anytime now, you know what I'm saying? Look at your watch. It could be hitting any moment. So what they're discussing, though, is that it would be a Carrington type of event, like a CME or a solar event, but come from the cosmos, come from the stars. But this event would be electromagnetical, but different from what a CME would be. But it would have a similar type effect. Because our atmosphere has been compressed, we've lost the ozone layer. They refuse to talk about that, but when was the last time they talked about the ozone layer? The atmosphere is compressed. When you look at the lightning strikes, it's obvious. Lightning comes up from the ground and it comes down from the clouds, both ways. Now the atmosphere is so condensed that lightning's going off like crazy. I've not seen this kind of stuff in forever. And now when you go to there's a website, that shows all the lightning strikes in real time. If you see how many are going off, or if you're under a thunderstorm, it's like boom, bang, ping, bang, boom, bang, ping. I've not ever seen anything like this. Once in a great while, when I lived in Florida in Tampa growing up, Tampa's like the lightning strike capital of the world or something like that, or it was back then. But even then there was like lightning. And then boom, lightning, boom. The one I recorded just last week, it was like boom, 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 boom. The lightning didn't stop. It continued. Regardless of where in the sky, there was lightning going off continuously. That's not normal. That's because our atmosphere has shrunk down and it's so highly charged. And the Earth, because of the Schumann resonance and all its frequencies, we have this going on, electric universe. So now we're getting these stuff out of the galactic wave or the stellar waves, and these are coming in from the backside. Our magnetic field lines have gone backwards. Things have gotten disrupted. When it should have come from the sun side, the sun's barely got anything happening to the Earth. Now, I haven't looked at it today, but a few days ago, there was barely anything coming off of the sun as far as electromagnetic waves, but we were getting zapped by something from outside the solar system. Now it's come out into the mainstream news. Now, the Galactics told me in my little conversation was that when it comes out, it's here. And that we should all be paying attention anyway. But when the mainstream news starts blurting it out and it's openly discussed between science groups now, this is like ding, 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 ding. It's like the fire bell going off. Now, the biggest thing everyone is hoping for, and I'm talking about the Galactics, all of us, is that we'll get a magnetic pole shift. The lights might go out for a while because this is a magnetic electrical type of event, okay? And it would act like a CME coming off of the sun, but it's coming from the opposite direction, but would still affect us in sort of the same way. Now, just think of an aurora borealis literally going around the Earth, a couple of times. Just blues, reds, greens, just going around our atmosphere. And while it's going around, it's going to start, lightning's going off and hitting the ground. Boom, bam, boom, 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 boom. We have electrical storms, and lightning strikes these electric poles all the time. The transformers blow, and this happens. It knocks a tree limb over. I mean, the lights are always going out. In a thunderstorm, it's almost common. You can expect it. Thunderstorm, have my flashlight ready or something. Now, the fact that the atmosphere is condensed, the electrical charge is much higher. The electrical potential between the Earth and our atmosphere now is at least 100 times stronger than it was this time last summer. 100 times stronger. Now, I'm not even talking about CERN and what those idiots are doing with the magnet and the Earth. And I'm not even going there. Let's just talk about the real stuff, the cosmic stuff, the Earth things. These things are being measured. Now, are they being discussed with the mainstream public? No, they are now. RT, NASA, okay. They're all talking about these energy waves coming from someplace else. Wow. So, in my opinion, the galactics are right again. Dave, in a couple of weeks, you're going to hear this. It's going to come out about this. That's going to be the ding, 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 ding. They're on their way, or they're here, or we're getting there. Now, to the other side of that same coin, and listening to, I call them galactics, space brother, Isbies. I have one particular entity that I met in Ohio when I did the Ohio glyph picture video back 2 years ago, or maybe 3 now. I'm losing track of that. But I met that entity when I was there at the glyphs in Ohio, the petroglyphs. That's the same entity. And it's not like he hangs around and sends me downloads all the time, but I'll get a certain thing and it'll be like a really good thought. And it'll be like, watch this, blah, 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 something, signed T. Okay, fine. And I'll just know that, all right, I'm already aware of this, but now you've given me just a little bit of a watch for mainstream news on the energy waves. Okay, thanks a lot. That's all it is. It's not long anyway. But here we go again in less than 3 weeks of getting this info personally, plus what I've seen from other empaths and other folks. But now it was like the other day, it was like, Dave, this week or, really soon. Okay. So now they're talking about it. Now, to follow up on this, if the galactics are right, somewhere between the 11th and the 21st of July, there is going to be an event, meaning one of these bigger waves are going to hit us. Okay. And the time, it could be tomorrow now, but they were trying to get, space and time and waves and everything's moving. Okay. Now they could probably pinpoint it to the millisecond, but they just tell us in general terms. But the general term is that from now until the end of this month, and with all the planets going on one side of the sun, which changes all the electric field, okay? It changes all the dynamics of the entire solar system. It's a natural event. It's just a coincidence. Everything's on one side for a while, for, 6 weeks or something. But during that time, there's going to be all this electrical energy only on one side of the planet. Now, Mr. MB333 has done some extensive looking into this, and I agree with him. He's gone back into time when these events have happened, and there are more earthquakes, there are more volcanoes, there are more all kinds of stuff on the planet. Has been recorded, they know it. Warning, pay attention. Now they're talking about the galactic waves. Should we pay attention to this or just go about our daily lives? And when the lights go out for 3 weeks because this thing comes in next week and now they're talking about it. Oh, it's not going to kill, but if enough lightning strikes happen because of the compression, blah, 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 it's going to knock our grid down, at least in a lot of places. And with the amount of lightning I've seen down here in South Georgia, if it were to get a little bit more intense and there's another energy wave coming in and all this happens at a really good time, our lights are going to go out. I'm not worried. I'm ready. Now I'm going to miss my computer and stuff like that, but I still have a phone line. Unless the lights go out in town, then I'm not going to have electricity on my phone line either. But I do have walkie-talkies and a radio. And I have a vehicle that's old enough to where there are no electronics to be fried. It's that kind of a vehicle. So with all these things said, though, I've got water. I've got what I need. I can stay here on my property for 3 weeks and not leave. I'll run out of cigarettes or whatever, but how many people, though, can? And how many people are ready for that? How many people have been prepping? That's a bunch of bullshit. This isn't about prepping. This is about being ready for a really bad storm, okay? Last summer this time, Houston got flooded. People drowned. Things happened. Did they plan to have a flood that was 8 and 10 feet tall in places? No. Were they ready? No. Did they make do? Yes. But so we're going to have a flood of electrical energy in our atmosphere, and it's heating up the planet, and it's doing. So why shouldn't we take precautions just like if a hurricane's coming up the coast? Okay, bring your lawn chairs in, okay, okay, tape the windows, whatever. If we don't pay any attention, that's where the critical part comes from. So we've been prep. But now there's an alarm bell that wasn't there before. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. I'm already ready. I'm hoping you will at least pay enough attention, have some extra candles, some extra batteries. If the lights go out, fill your bathtub immediately. Fill every container you can find if the lights go out. You can always let it out later, but you can't pump it in anyway. And most places will have a tower so that the gravity is what brings you the water pressure. So if everybody uses it all up, but it doesn't get replaced, so get your water while you can before everybody drains that tank out and there's no gravity feed. Okay? Pay attention. Now, there are a lot of cities that have backup generators and stuff, but they all have electronic ignitions. And if they get fried in this electrical event, so and it'll take a while to fix everything, it's just going to take time. Now, there are a lot of people who are very much, got to have their electricity. Thank goodness I've progressed to the point where I don't. It's just going to be a long camping trip for me at the house. But other people need to be at least aware that this situation exists. We can't just fluff this off and say, oh, but that's just horse shit. It's not. It's coming in. Everybody's starting to talk about it. That means we really need to pay attention because everyone's discussing it. Now, is it going to kill the earth? Don't think so. But knocking out our lights is going to cause enough damage. And that just if it blew every fuse in the system, it would take a while to replace. I'm not talking about the earth blowing up and cracking. I'm talking about electricity being off for a while, period. But that affects everything. I'm not talking about the lines being torn. Not going there. I'm talking about every fuse on the planet getting blown and having to replace them. That's what I'm talking about. Fuses being blown, power surge. That's what's going to happen. But that's going to knock some stuff out. Is it going to kill us all? I don't think so. And the galactics are trying their best to try to dissipate this energy. But the bottom line is this warning. Mainstream news is discussing these energy waves. Ding, 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 ding. What do you think? This is my warning to you because they're warning you. Okay? This was my signal. It's like, be prepared, Dave. Tell folks it up. But now when you hear it from them guys, then you need to ring that bell really, really loud. Now, we're all hoping that it won't be that bad. But still, if the electricity goes out, if it's just as simple as that, and we get a magnetic shift in the earth, which is common, just not since our lifetimes, we're going to be okay. Most of us. Many of us won't be because we aren't prepared for these types of things. Medicines, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If it does go down, how are we going to know? Because the radios won't work. Internet will be down. Electricity. So how are you going to know how long the lights are going to be off? Are they going to be able to broadcast? I mean, I'm down here in South Georgia. If the AM stations, if the power goes out to the AM stations, FM ain't going to work anyway. But the AM stations use the earth and the atmosphere to transmit their signals, okay, along with ham radio, okay? It uses the atmosphere and bounces radio signals off, okay? Now, those people are going to know what's going on. I've got my little radios. I can listen, but I have a very short range to talk. I don't really need to talk to anybody unless I need some particular thing. However, I would like to be able to listen to what's going on elsewhere. So get yourself at least a radio that you can get the shortwave bands so you can find out what's going on, okay? That's simple. They don't cost a lot, but that would give you a lot of peace of mind. When you don't know what's going on, aliens could be invading. And it could be that we just had a very heavy-duty magnetic event and all the fuses are blown. And it'll be a while till they get them and blah, 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 blah. Try not to panic. But if you have no communication with anything or anybody, you're going to think the worst. I know I would. That's why I got a radio, so I can listen in. Battery-powered radio, lots of little LED lights and yard lights. And I've talked about this before. Go down and spend $10 on yard lights. Stick them outside. They got AAA batteries in them. Most of them do. And if you can always recharge your batteries for another appliance by using yard lights. Simple. You don't have to go with a bunch of stuff. But if you've got a little flashlight like this that requires 3 AAA batteries, and you have no way to recharge them, that's why I have so many of these little yard lights. I can take the batteries out of there. These are rechargeable batteries as well. So I take these out, put them in the solar light, put them in the sun for a couple of days, and use the ones that were in there for this one so I can walk around the house, go to the toilet, blah, 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 blah. It's really simple, but it takes just a little bit of forethought. So you wouldn't have to panic. You wouldn't have to go crazy, blah, blah, blah. Once you can distill some of the fears in yourself as to what might happen, what could cause me to panic, what. If you just think, well, okay, I don't need 3 meals a day. I need 1 good meal and a little bit of snack. I can cut down. So if you get this set in your mind, okay, the lights go out. I've got 3 meals a day that I've planned for, but I've decided that I'm only going to eat 1 major meal a day, and I want to save those other 2 meals. Why? Because. Do you need them? Well, if you're not going to work, if all the electricity's shut down, then what are you going to be doing? Well, you're going to be bored sitting in the house, and if it's really hot and with no air conditioning, you have to go outside. So you're going to find other things to do. Now, that could make you more hungry, depending on how many calories you're burning. But if you plan it correctly and use a little bit of forethought, I'm going to eat 1 meal today and just snacks. When I get hungry, I want to eat a cracker, not 2 of them, not the whole bar. I'm going to take 2 bites and save the rest for 2 hours from now. Because if you keep up a small amount of energy going into you, you can prolong it. If you eat it all at one time and you get this energy boost and then it goes on down through, then you're hungry again and you've lost energy. Little bits all the way through. That's what our pioneers did. That's what the Native Americans did. They foraged as they ran through the forest to get to the next tribe. I mean, these folks would run 2, 3, 4 miles an hour all day long. I mean, it was just it was nothing to them folks. Well, I can't run to the truck, which is 20 yards from me now, at least. But so everything in its time. All right. So where am I headed with this? The galactics are ringing the bell. Across the planet, on mainstream news, there are things fixing to happen. So between July the 11th and the 21st especially. But after the 21st, when all the planets are on one side of the solar system, we really don't know what to expect. But electrical changes, more earthquakes, more volcanoes, those have been proven to have existed when this condition has happened before. That is a fact. That is pure out fact. Don't need to talk to the aliens about it. Don't need to talk to the science. It's happened. The data is there. It's proof. And we're fixing to go into that for the next 6 months or so. Or is it weeks? Anyway, starting July the 21st, we go into this event of all the planets. I'm not sure how it's going to, some of them are going to come out within 6 weeks. Others, it's going to take a little longer. We're going to be really lopsided for a while, for a couple of months, at least until the vernal equinox. I'm sorry, autumnal equinox. My birthday in September. So that's going to be at least 2.5, 3 months almost. And then the other planets are going to come around. Venus will show up. Mars will come around. Our Earth will, things will lighten up. It'll still be off balance, if you will, as the solar system of Sol, our star. But so have a couple of buckets. I'm always saying you got to have 2 5-gallon buckets, one for water and one for pooping. You just gotta, and for other things too. You can flip them upside down and use them as a stool. But my point is or you use them for your stool. Never mind. But it's important that we just be aware right now, because these things are happening. Not a joke, not a scare factor, but I don't think anybody, even them folks up there, are quite sure how bad or severe it will be. Just that it is going to happen. And it's ding, 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 here now. Pay attention. Just be careful. Be wary. And for all that prepper crap, I'm not saying you got to go out. I'm not going there. But I am saying have your own personal stuff. Okay? Extra toilet paper, extra whatever, if you got to look at something else. And and speaking of toilet paper, some folks will use a half a roll to wipe with. Now, if you don't have but 3 rolls and you're not sure when you're going to get more, I would strongly suggest you figure out that you can use less toilet paper. Okay? What did the natives and all them folks do in them old days? Oh my God, they used grasses and in their hand when they had to. Okay? But they went to the creek or whatever and they washed it off. It's just poop. You can wash it off. That's why a bucket full of water and washing and one to poop in or do your business in. And a bar of soap, it's really easy to take care of. If you have to get some on you, oh my God. But to the point though, those are the kinds of things some people freak out about. Oh my God, I got poop on my finger. Ew. And so they use a half a roll of toilet paper to wipe their butt with, which gets, never mind, I ain't going any further with that. So everything in moderation. And if you know that this might happen, if the lights go out and everybody else's does, and you can't get in touch with anybody, then what you should automatically do is go into, I need to go into, they warned us about this mode. I'm going to take it careful here. I'm going to back off on 4 meals a day and 3 snacks and 2 6-packs of beer. I'm going to just chill. Oh, by the way, what are you going to do when you can't get cold beer? Well, that's going to hurt. So anyway, think about your neighbor. Continue. I continue the dialogue where we got to stop hating each other. We got to start debating. We got to negotiate, and we've got to unite. We had a discussion the other night on Milky Way Weekly, and we were kind of joking about it before the show that that this gentleman Eric, he was going to be a little further out left field or something, or right field maybe, than me or Brian might have been. And it turned out that we were actually closer together because we all want the same thing. So even though our opinions are different, our core values are all the same. And that's what we need to get back to. Our core values are the same. It's the little tiddly bits on the side that we're arguing over. when we all want the same thing? We want peace, we want honor, we want respect, and but we all want the same thing. And as we come together with this, it's going to unite us in a way that the oligarchs and folks never dreamed of. We're just going to go, oh, I get it now. I don't need to argue with you. But we can debate a point, or we can, have a discussion here without screaming. And the more this is happening, the more I see people actually talking to one another, having conversation instead of pointing fingers and having screaming fits. And if somebody wants to scream at you, smile and don't say a word. Allow it to go over you, past you, up, down, around, whatever. You have the choice to accept or reject any of this negative energy that gets flopped on you. So I'm trying to be good, and I'm trying to keep these things to an hour. I'm at 55 minutes. Let me read. The moon in my setting is about 10 degrees south from its west orbit. I saw it this morning at 10, where it was positioned in the sky. Yeah, the tinfoil. And you know what? The galactics are warning that the Canary Islands, over there on the other side of the Atlantic, is very possible that island's been showing some really nasty tremors. And they warned us 20 years ago about if that island split, it would send a tsunami across the Atlantic Ocean. And they say 700 feet. And I say, that's a big damn wave. Now, but if it's 70 feet and you live on the coast, if it's 30 feet and you live on the coast, my house is a 2-story house and it's only 25 to the eave. A 30-foot wave would top over my house. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, the world will be fine, but I don't see how that helps people like us. People like us are aware of the fact. Now, my point is to this simple fact. If my energies are vibrating at the right wavelength, and I do get taken over and killed by a giant wave, I know my soul and my spirit. I did the best I could. But for people who have had no opportunity or think that this is just too crazy, that they're going to be so confused when they try to make the passage, it's not going to make any sense to them. When I make the passage, I've already been across that line a couple of times. So I'm going to know. They won't, most of them. And so I continue to pray for that. We dig a pit. Yeah, right. But there are folks who live in apartment complexes and things like that can't dig a pit, though, Miss Marie. Oh, and hi, Marie, by the way. I didn't say hello to you, did I? Oh, shame on me. I'm trying to stay on topic. But, damn, too many things I need. We'll never be independent. If it was just me, I'd need little or nothing. People are our strength, yet our biggest weakness. That's absolutely true. But the thing is like, yeah, I can survive on my own, but it doesn't make it easy on me at 66 years old and bad back and everything. I would much rather have a couple of neighbors or some family or somebody where you could share these things with, but I don't have it. Ain't going to get it. I don't think. Not the point. I'm trying to warn other people. If you got family members around you, then group together. Talk about this. If you're not talking about this, then you're just up shit creek. Period. I'm sorry. And if anybody refuses to even look at it or being prepared at the latest, and it's like, for example, tinfoil, here's a point. You may not have all the things that you think that you need, but if a situation came up, you would know exactly what you needed. You might be able to barter. You might have somebody that lives 2 blocks down the street from you that's got a CB radio or a ham radio in the basement you weren't aware of. I mean, there's so many things because we have closed ourselves off to our friends, family, neighbors, etc. We don't know what the other person has. Because we're all closed up like this and looking at cell phones. So we don't know. So my point is, we need to talk to your neighbors, find out what's going on in the neighborhood. You don't have to be buddy, come over for dinner, but you at least should be able to have a conversation. One of the things that I have as a bartering tool are tools. That's my gold. That's my silver. That's whatever. I have tools. And I have tools, old type tools, to drill holes and to do this, da da da. They don't require electricity. Now, how many people can say, well, do you have an axe? No. Well, I got an axe and a saw, and I got a crosscut saw, now I've collected these things, and that's the type of person I am. But the point of the matter is, you might have a neighbor down the road that collects saws, and you need to cut firewood to build a fire or whatever you do. So you don't know. But if you start to network and talk to people in your neighborhood and around you, then you can find out these things. And when the crap does it, if it hits the fan at all, then you will at least know some folks around you of what's going on. And it may be that you can barter and share with these folks, because you might have a little bit of extra food or something, but they got a way to cut firewood, or they got a way to, for whatever it is. Barter. That's the way the Indians and everybody did it in the old days. They didn't have any money. An Indian didn't want money. It meant no, gold piece and fine. Silver, I don't care. It was for decoration. That's why, there were seashells worth more than gold to many Native American tribes, because somebody had to go to the ocean to get them and then bring them back to the tribe. It made them very valuable. They still couldn't eat them, but it was something pretty, and they wore it, and they were just seashells. So, an abalone and things like that, which is like mussels. But so, with that said, I'm hoping that people, right, they didn't have corporations. And one of the things that there's something else that's going on a lot about, that people are talking about tribalism as a bad thing. Oh, tribalism. Hang on. What are you talking about? Oh, well, tribalism is bad. Well, I don't know. Did you know that the tribes, when they go into the South American jungles and blah blah blah, there's all these tribes of indigenous folks. They don't war amongst each other. They're all laying in hammocks and feeding one another, running around with only a loincloth on, and they're happy. They're not fighting. They don't have diseases. They don't have these other things. And most of the time, there's not any warring. And there might be a tribe way off somewhere and come down. But the thing was, mothers were respected because they were childbearers and nourished. Mothers were expected to plant the seeds. The men were to go off and hunt, get hurt, climb trees, blah, 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 and do some plowing. But the mothers, because of their nature and their sacredness and the honor that was given to them by the men and other tribal members, it called respect and honor, that the women planted the seeds for the gardens or whatever because they were the nurturers. We've lost all that. But tribalism's bad. Really? If you go back to what tribes really were, they were really close-knit family units. What's wrong with that? Well, they're trying to break up the family. And when we speak of tribalism, because now, Miss Marie, you and I are part of the tribe of one, which is the earth. And so now they want to break us up. Oh, well, tribalism's bad. What? Hang on here. Everything that comes out of their mouth is bad. Tribalism, bad. Wait a minute. And some folks are saying that tribalism is like Nazis. What? No native tribe ever wanted to genetically get rid of someone else. Now, there were nasty tribes in the old days that warred, and they would kill all the men and a lot of the boys, but they would keep the women. So they didn't get rid of all of them. There was never a genetic wipeout. It wasn't until the white man came that they started doing that mess. Shame on us. But to this point, they're trying even to beat us up about tribalism. And if you do research, you find out the chief wasn't really the one that had the power. It was the mothers. The chief took care of the braves and blah, 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 but he always had to answer with respect, and he wanted to hear what the wife said. hear what the medicine woman had to say. Now we don't, in this culture, we don't listen to women at all. Now they're talking about, this, that, now. And most women who are bitching now are trying to be men. They're not trying to be women at all. That's a shame. And so they put a curse on their own female gender. It's a shame. But that's the chaos we're in right now. So if we go back to tribalism, it would go back to basic honor, trust, respect for one another. You know how to cook, I don't, but I know how to make arrowheads. Okay, you make arrowheads, I'll cook. Joe over there knows how to strip bark, and he makes the best bark baskets you've ever seen. And, blah, blah, blah. So everyone who has a talent uses the talent for the whole. We don't do that anymore. Culture has been scattered all over the world. I probably have cousins in America that I don't even know about as the family is scattered. Yeah. Well, it's one thing for scattered families. It's another thing, though, for the family tie to be broken. I mean, I've got relatives up in Ohio, and I'm down here in South Georgia, and I got family down in Tampa area, Dade City down there. But the thing is that I still have a tie with some of these folks, even though distance, it's 1,000 miles. Okay, well, but I still have a tie to them. We still speak. We still do this. What these folks are doing today are they're trying to scatter everyone. Now, you and I, Marie, we've had little conversations in the middle of the night. I love it. I really do. I think it's cool. But at the same time, there are people who bitch and complain, well, Dave, your video was too long because you were talking to some lady by the name of Marie. Well, I'm sorry. My job is, if I only speak to one person, that one person is important. It's not about quantity. It's about quality and who and what needs to be said, what needs to be discussed. And so it's like, run your mouth. Bitch at me because I wrap my mouth. Your video was too long. Okay, fine. Cut it off. But there might be something dead in the middle that might be really important. I understand. I skip through videos too. Right. And they can join in. And I've asked people, well, if you want to bitch about it, then you get on and you join the chat, or I'll try to do a live stream and we can hang out, as the thing says on my computer, Google Hangouts. Okay, fine. And we'll chat. I hate being the only one talking. But at the same point, I know that there's information that I am supposed to get out. So my hope and dream is that I can just continue this. I can continue to have conversations with people that we can join together for the discussion. And for what might work for me here in my location might not work for you, Marie. And I'm not trying to get people all upset about, oh my God, I don't have enough stuff. That's not the point. If you're just ready in your head, like, man, shit, you might not have all your stuff when a hurricane blows in, but after it blows in, you know where things are, and you got a sort of an idea. When I grew up in Florida, everybody knew after a hurricane whether the lights are on or not. We always feel, there were things we knew back in the 60s that folks don't do now. And it's the same deal, but everything's been scattered, fragmented, whatever. And there are a lot more people there too. So, but the message is simple. Here shortly, something's coming. And now that it's being seen and reported by other agencies, we just, even just a good old fashioned cooking. Exactly. A friend of mine, she's like totally vegetarian. Well, she eats dairy products and she eats eggs, but that's that. No meat products at all. And we talk about how the time once a month we used to get together and make a lasagna. All kinds of cheese, you name it. Oh, lasagna. I love lasagna. And Miss Marcia makes some of the best lasagna, right? So I would get, part of it, and she would buy part of it. And between the two of us, we would make a big pot of lasagna. Well, she came over here one time, surprised me, and I ran out of gas on my stove. Well, we ended up making a fire outside in my outside fire pit thing. And she goes, Dave, that was the best damn lasagna I ever had because it had a wood smoke to the lasagna. I cook with oak and some pecan wood and yummy, yummy. And she still, after 20 something years, talks about how good that lasagna was that we made actually in the back on the, you know, uh, uh, in my homemade fire pit area. So it's like, wow. So, yes, there are so many things you can do. And if somebody knows something else, but I say the tribe of one is still getting together. I say the tribe of one, the more we connect with one another, that this tribe of one can make it, is going to make it. And even if a wave kills me tomorrow, I know that I did my best to get my spirit clean. Marie, I have them. I have 2 wood stoves and a bunch of cast iron, frying pans. Yep, I've got 2 stoves. One sitting right over here behind me, actually, on the other side of this chair, right down there. And I've got another one that's supposed to go. I'm rearranging the inside of my house. I don't like where the kitchen is. Anyway, um, and I've got another wood stove that I'd like to put on that end of the house. It's colder over there. Blah blah blah. And but the other thing is that I've also over the years, when I got $20 extra, I went down instead of going spending it on something stupid. I went and got another tank of LP gas. I now have 3 LP gas tanks plus the one I'm using. And unless I use the oven a lot, it'll last me a month. Easy. I'm still on the same tank from last year, but I don't use my gas stove. You have a fire operated water system. Yeah. Now the water I got to pull up with a bucket, but but still, I have water on top of the hill that's higher than my location in the house. And so if I'm careful, even though there's no power, I have gravity feed of about 35, 40 gallons, which if you're careful, and then I've got, other ways of getting water. And I got a hot water tank in the house that's got 40 gallons of water in it, fresh water. So I've got 80 gallons of water at my disposal for drinking or bathing. And if I need to do something else, I got water outside. I can go dip it out of the well, whatever. I have other options. I know other people don't have this. But this was my choice from the 1970s. This was my choice. And I know other people can't get where I'm at. It took me 40 years to get here, but, and I still don't have it the way I'd really like it, but I've gotten by all these years and I know how to heat water and never mind, So, but to other people that are so used to electricity and calling home on their phone and turning on the air conditioner, I feel sad for them folk. I really do. We used to have a property where we dug a dam and had it gravity fed to our house. Yep. And see, I'm sort of in that same area in that I'm at the bottom of the hill and I ran out of money and got disabled and I couldn't do the dam, but I do have water storage higher than above the house. So I do have gravity feed. Well, my dear Marie, I got to go, literally got to go. And I wish to thank you. I love you. I love our conversations. Stay well. I'll be back another time. Not sure when, but keep it between the ditches, my dear. Keep your faith up. I know you will, but pass it on to others and whatever. So let's just keep a positive thought, even though some weird things are going to happen. And they're not necessarily like going to die, but we are going to have changes and we just need to be aware. So thank you, my dear. Thank you to anyone else who may watch or listen. I love you all. I really do, from my heart, my heart, soul, and be nice to one another. So until the next time, I'm out of here in a couple, and I love you, love you, love you. More so, America, we get the ripples. I love you, darling. Be careful, be safe. Until next time. Bye.